Today, we're diving headfirst into the razor's edge of interstellar diplomacy, pulling some incredible lessons from C.J. Cherryh's amazing sci-fi novel, Invader. So let me ask you this, could you do it? Could you be the one person standing between humanity and a powerful, totally alien species, where every single word you say, every tiny gesture you make, could be the spark that ignites an interstellar war? Well, that's the day-to-day reality for the hero of our story. And to really get a feel for the stakes here, we first have to understand the unbelievably delicate position our diplomat is in. His official title is Peggy, and his name is Bren Cameron, but he's so much more than a translator. You have to understand, he is the only bridge between these two worlds. Think about that pressure. He's the one person holding it all together, and one wrong word could mean millions of deaths. That's his 9 to 5. On paper, his mission sounds pretty straightforward, but in reality, it's almost impossible. He has to connect two species that are just wired completely differently. It's not just about learning a new language, it's about trying to understand a completely alien way of thinking. And this chart just scratches the surface of how deep that divide goes. Humans, right? We run on emotion, we say what we mean. The Ataegira, on the other hand, are driven by this complex idea of association. Everything, and I mean everything, is about these intricate webs of loyalty, status, and ritual. For them, you don't just say something. You're making a political move, a declaration of allegiance, or even a challenge. Every conversation is a minefield. And no, that is not an exaggeration. For the Ataegira, language defines reality. It locks in loyalties. So the wrong phrase, even just the wrong emphasis on a word, could be taken as a profound betrayal. And the consequences, well, they'd be catastrophic. So just when Bren feels like he might have a handle on this fragile piece, a massive wrench gets thrown into the works, something that threatens to shatter everything he's built. A ship, the Phoenix, just appears out of nowhere, and it's packed with thousands of human survivors who've been lost for decades. At first, it seems like a miracle, right? Finally, more of his own kind. But here's the brutal twist. It's not a rescue. From the perspective of the delicate piece that's been built, it's an invasion. This one event throws 200 years of careful, painstaking diplomacy right out the window. So why are these humans so dangerous? Well, they're arrogant, they're politically motivated, and they have absolutely no clue about the peace treaty Bren has bled for. They look at the powerful Ataegira and don't see partners, they see obstacles. To the Ataegira, this unauthorized arrival isn't just rude, it's a terrifying, catastrophic breach of trust. So how in the world does Bren navigate this impossible crisis? Well, his strategies basically give us a masterclass in high-stakes diplomacy. So let's break it down into 5 key lessons we can take away from his approach. All right, here's the playbook. First, erase your human reflexes. Second, wield language as power. Third, beware of good intentions. Fourth, become a silent strategist. And fifth, continuously earn trust. Let's dig into each one. Okay, lesson 1, erase your human reflexes. To survive in this world, Bren has to constantly fight against his own instincts. A simple friendly smile, that could be interpreted as weakness. A frown of frustration, that might be seen as a direct challenge. He basically has to lock his own humanity in a box to avoid a fatal mistake. And you can only imagine the psychological toll that takes. And that leads us right into lesson 2, wield language as power. See, for Bren, learning the Ataegira language isn't just about memorizing words. It's about actually thinking like they do, internalizing their whole worldview of association. Once he can do that, he becomes this incredibly influential operator, able to shape events without ever having to give a direct order. Which brings us to a huge one. Lesson 3, beware of good intentions. The crew of the Phoenix are the poster children for this. They think they're helping, they think they're doing the right thing. But because they have zero cultural understanding, their help is way more destructive than any outright attack could ever be. It's a powerful reminder that ignorance can be a weapon. This feeds directly into lesson 4, become a silent strategist. Bren almost never confronts anyone head-on. That's not how you get things done here. Instead, he's like a grandmaster playing chess. He observes, he anticipates, and he uses these incredibly subtle suggestions, a perfectly timed word, a symbolic gift, to gently nudge the powerful Ataegira Lord Tabini toward keeping the peace. It's a masterclass in influence over brute force. At all of this, everything he does rests on the final and most important lesson: continuously earn trust. Peace isn't a finish line you cross once and you're done. It's like walking a tightrope over a canyon every single day. Every interaction Bren has with Lord Tabini is another step on that rope, another moment where he has to prove his loyalty and reaffirm their fragile alliance. It's absolutely exhausting, but it's the only thing keeping them all alive. So after all this chaos, all the political maneuvering and near disasters, what's the end result? What does winning even look like in a situation this messy? Here's the thing. The victory isn't some big, shiny peace treaty with a parade. The victory is simply that the peace survives. It's battered, it's bruised, but it's still there. Bren's quiet, thankless courage is what pulls two entire species back from the brink of mutual annihilation. He doesn't win a war, he stops one from ever starting. And that, right there, is the heart of it all. It's not about grand armies or epic speeches. Sometimes the most powerful force in the universe is just one person's dedicated, painstaking effort to hold the line against chaos. And all this leaves us with one final, really tough question. After everything he's been through, where does Bren's true loyalty lie? Is it to humanity, the species he was born into? Or is it to the fragile, cross-species peace that he has bled to create and protect? It's a question that gets to the very core of what it means to be a bridge between two worlds.